my name is Jeff Good, and we got involved with the Patriot ride. This would have been the 15th year, I believe. So we got involved the second year of the conception of the Patriot ride, and obviously we were involved with some other groups participating in everything that was going on back in the 2000, early 2000. And so my wife and I had heard about the Patriot ride and we got involved. And next thing you know, we're involved with the planning and everything that goes along with it. But I guess more than that, it was what it meant to us. It was, at the time, I just felt it was, for both my wife and I, it was a way for us to do something, to give back, to acknowledge the families and the men and women across the country that were serving and making the sacrifices. And it really struck us that, is there something that we can do to acknowledge this? And so we felt by getting involved with the Patriot ride, it really meant a lot. Gave us an opportunity to give back and show our support and our thanks, and to be there with the families, and acknowledge their loss and let them know that, hey, we're never going to forget. We're never going to forget. And so I mean, I think that was a big part of it, that it was just meaningful to us that we could share with these families that, although we can never totally feel the loss in many cases where there was loss, but we just wanted them to know that we were there to support them. And we, over the years, we've become very good friends with a lot of, Gold Star families, Blue Star families, just men and women serving. I mean, it became even a bigger, over the years, it became more of a kind of a family, if you will. And it was so rewarding to be a part of the planning and just a small piece of the ride that we contributed our help. But it was really rewarding to hear, different people, whether they've served or not, just that, once they experienced the Patriot ride, to hear the stories and how cool it was, and just the camaraderie and the people involved, everybody collectively coming together for, a good reason. And, it was unfortunate that this year that it couldn't happen, because I know for a lot of people involved and people that participate, people look forward to this ride every year. And unfortunately, the COVID-19 stifled a lot of events, us being one of them. But, you make do with what you got. And so hopefully this will be a way for people to, like you said earlier, to participate in their own way and take photos and share some things that it meant to them.
Perfect. If you can think of 1, 2, 3, or as many as you'd like, favorite moments or memories of yours from Patriot rides in the years past.
Wow. Okay. Well, there were several. I mean, majority of my involvement, my wife and I, being on the planning committee, that I was also the ride lead. So planning the ride and the ride route at times, admittingly, was stressful. Only because I wanted to make, and we as a group wanted to make sure that the ride was safe. But there was a couple different memorable times. I think the first time that when we did the ride and we had the soldiers from the Minnesota National Guard participating and out on the roadside holding honor signs, remembering those that we've lost in Minnesota, that really struck a chord. I mean, that was, thank goodness for sunglasses, because my eyes were watering a lot. And it was very emotional. to see them out there and seeing the names of the soldiers that had made the ultimate sacrifice. That is something I'll never forget. Many other experiences, from rain to, once the ride starts, and I'm not the only one that endured it, but we had some pretty good downpours. There was a time that we were up in Cambridge at the Armory, and everything's coordinated with law enforcement, and people are out with their cell phones, and they could see the big red storm cell coming our way. And I'm like, hey, I can't just change it. We can't just change everything. Law enforcement's blocking the intersections for us. So we took off, and within 10 minutes, it was a major downpour. I mean, the rain coming sideways, and but we made it through it, and everybody safely made it back to our final destination, and it was soaking wet. But and again, it was. I often quoted I was telling my wife, there was times that we rode in honor of our military men and women, and sometimes the conditions weren't always of the best for riding a motorcycle. But I always made a comment to her that this is nothing compared to the sacrifices that these families made and some of the pain that they've unfortunately felt. So I mean, sorry about that.
No problem.
From taking it from that standpoint, a little bit of rain, a little bit of uncomfortableness was nothing. It just made us press on. I guess there's not one particular thing that just stands out more than anything else on the rides. We had a lot of good times, a lot of meeting a lot of fun people. We had some great speakers, different personalities, radio personalities, join our ride. But for me, a lot of it was just, the stress of wanting it to all go perfect, and the reality of it is it all came together. Everybody had their little piece that they did. And even if there was something that didn't go according to plan, nobody else knew it, because, when they looked at it, it looked like, hey, this is a well choreographed machine. Everything went off without a hitch, and for the most part, it did. It was truly an honor to work with a group of people, especially people from Dennis Kirk. They put a lot of their time and heart and energy in it, and a lot of them did it. Spent a lot of their own time, and so I know it meant a lot to a lot of people being a part of this Patriot ride, and I'm going to be sad to see it go. I think that everything has its shelf life, if you want to call it that, and I know at some point in time, every big event there has to have an ending, but this one was really a labor of love, and I know it meant a lot to a lot of people. It certainly meant a lot to my wife and I, being a part of the Patriot ride.
As we kind of approach this year, knowing that it will look a little bit different. Well, it will look a lot different than years past, because we aren't going to be able to all gather in one place and ride together, but we are going to be encouraging people to get a team of people together, pick their own route and ride, and collectively, each team that is out there, raise some money for these great causes as best they can. So we're going to ask them to do a little legwork this year.
Mm-hmm.
So as we embark on this one last fundraising mission and we say goodbye to the Patriot Ride, what words could you give us to encourage people to participate and motivate them to raise funds this year?
I would have to say that for anybody that has been on the ride in years past, you already know what this ride is about, and the meaning behind it, and the special place that not only holds and everybody that was involved in the planning in their hearts, but you as a participant, how much this ride meant to the families, how much it meant to the soldiers. And like I said earlier, it became a bigger cause, if you will, because I think collectively everybody coming together, families of the soldiers, those currently serving, everybody participating, remembering those that have served and made the ultimate sacrifice. I would encourage everybody to get out there and participate. And this gives you a way to express some of the things that you may be feeling, as far as, sending in your photos, letting us know what that ride meant to you. And I think it's important that everybody has an opportunity to share that. And under the situation that we're all enduring right now with COVID-19, this is a great opportunity to allow everybody to express different pieces of what the Patriot Ride meant to them, and at the same time raise some money for some good organizations that are out there still fighting the cause and helping people out. And I would just say, let's just make let's say goodbye to the Patriot Ride and have a great experience for those participating and sharing their photos and being a part of this and raising money. In addition to that, I think that's just we owe it to everybody involved, participants, planners, everybody. We owe it to everybody to send this off properly and give it the proper goodbye and make it a success in 2020.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Those are the only questions I have for you. But before we stop recording, if there's anything else you'd like to add, anything you felt I missed, anything else you'd like to say, please feel free to do so.
Well, what's this story that Bly was telling you about?
Well, it's funny because you came close to touching on it. I believe he said, because I asked him the same question about some of his moments and memories that stuck out, and he was talking about that final mile.
Yeah.
The photos on the roadside, and that same thing that you said, he was watering up and it was hitting him pretty hard. And he said they got parked and got off the bike and looked at you and realized you were feeling the same thing and just grabbed you and gave you a big hug, and you guys both kind of just had a moment together.
Yeah. It's very, very moving. And like I said, anybody that has been on the ride in years past, it just, the feeling of the patriotism, and as over the last several years, the roadside, the participation for those that never rode. I mean, I can't even explain, there's obviously video that shows that, but I mean, we had hundreds and hundreds of people roadside waving their flags, and it not only became it was more than just a motorcycle ride. It was a community event. It was a Patriots event. It allowed, whether you rode or not, or whether you just wanted to be a spectator to watch the motorcycles go by. I really think that day, on that day of the ride, you just had this feeling of everybody kind of uniting and obviously remembering the sacrifices, but then also knowing, what the ride was about, and everybody having the feeling of just patriotism. We'll never forget. And there's men and women that are willing to make those sacrifices to make this country great. And thank God for the men and women that serve in our military forces, because we are a great country, and the Patriot Ride's going to be missed. It's surely going to be missed, but it was a great ride when we had it, and I'll never forget it. Never forget.